So another form of privilege is the legal professional privilege. And this form of privilege exists between the client and the advocate. And none of the two shall be compelled to provide information about the communication made between them. So Article 134 sub-Article 1 protects either the client or the advocate from giving or providing information about the communication made between them in that course of giving that legal advice. So they are immune from giving or testifying of the information during the course of giving that legal advice. So in the case of Grant versus Downs, this form of privilege assists in enhancing the administration of justice. That legal professional privilege, it assists in enhancing the administration of justice in the giving of legal advice and facilitating the representation of a client by an advocate. So Article 1. So the case of Omari son of Hassan versus the Republic, the information that the client has refused to comply to the advice given by the advocate was declared to be a breach of legal professional privilege. So it wasn't allowed by that court. So there are two categories of legal professional privilege. The first one is the litigation privilege, and the second one is the legal advice privilege. And the litigation privilege, this arises after the commencement of the litigation. So this protects the confidentiality of information made after the commencement of the litigation. So a client cannot communicate that information to maybe a third counsel. So that confidentiality is protected after the litigation has commenced. So the second one is the legal advice privilege, and this includes all communication, oral or documentary, made in the course of giving that legal advice. So in the case of Brown versus Foster, a client can refuse to divulge the information given by the advocate, and the advocate can also refuse to divulge the advice or communication given by the client. So both of them can refuse to divulge. So this privilege is only exempted, or it does not exist, whereby there is a criminal activity going on in where there is an anticipation of any crime or criminal activity.